Now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akugha as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akugha. As it is the tradition on this program, in today's lineup, our package unveils some of the issues that constitute the crisis of development in the Niger Delta, as well as possible solutions to challenges of poverty, insecurity, and underdevelopment in the region. We begin with the new emerging security threats of kidnapping along the east-west road and the coastal parts of the Niger Delta. Next on our lineup is a focus on the anxiety and apprehension greeting the face-off between Shell Petroleum Development Company SPDC and its host communities of OML 25 in the oil-rich Kula Kingdom of Rivers State. In the course of the program, we'll also bring you details of what Bayelsa State Governor Seriake Dickson is doing to check the rise of cancer, which is becoming prevalent after many years of oil and gas exploration and its attendant risk on the health of the oil-producing communities. And finally on the program, we'll bring you an update on the forthcoming November 16 governorship election in Bayelsa State. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back after this time out. Don't go away.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Glad to have you back on the program. If you're just joining us, it's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. In recent times, the activities of kidnappers have constituted a major threat to national insecurity as the Nigerian authorities fight hard to halt the trend. In this report, correspondent Chika Obodozie takes a look at the impact of the organized crime of kidnapping on road travelers and seafarers in the Niger Delta.
In the new wave of insecurity sweeping across the country, kidnapping for ransom is now brisk business for men of the underworld. In the last few years, the Rumuji Ahoda axis of the east-west road has come under the siege of kidnappers operating in the Niger Delta, making life unbearable for travelers and other road users. During this period, several lives have been lost to coordinated attacks by daredevil kidnappers. Some survivors of the nightmare associated with travel on the east-west road and others with friends and relatives as victims of the organized crime are making a passionate appeal to the government to rise to the occasion. In responding to this scenario, the Rivers State Police Command in April this year declared a state of emergency on the Rumuji Ahoda section of the east-west road. The terror of kidnapping is equally a source of concern along the coast of the Niger Delta. Few weeks back, sea pirates kidnapped 10 Turkish sailors some 200 nautical miles off the coast of Nigeria in the Gulf of Guinea. The Turkish hostages who recently gained their freedom were on board a cargo vessel departing from Cameroon to Ivory Coast. In attempting to tackle the menace of kidnapping, state governments of the Niger Delta are however enjoined to adopt a collaborative approach to achieve better results in the fight against kidnapping for ransom, the new wave of insecurity ravaging Nigeria's Niger Delta region.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Before this time, high-profile Nigerians and foreigners alike were the target of kidnappers in the Niger Delta. In recent times, however, ordinary Nigerians, most of whom are unemployed and wallowing in poverty, have become victims of hostage takers in the region. One of the many victims of hostage takers terrorizing the east-west road in the Niger Delta is a young woman who will simply identify as Stella. In the following interview, Stella gives an account of her ordeal at the hands of kidnappers recently while traveling from Warri in Delta State to Port Harcourt in Rivers State. I want to find out from you your experience in the hands of those kidnappers along the east-west road.
I was coming from Delta. So on our way back, close to Port Harcourt, there is Rumuji there. The motor that summer saw the bus, smoke everywhere. Suddenly I now saw some boys coming out from inside the bush. Actually, I was thinking that those boys were coming to rescue us, like to help us come out from that bus. Yes. So suddenly I saw them with guns, wood, cutlass, everything. I was like, oh, this is not what I'm thinking on my mind. So The boys, those kidnappers, came to the bus, opened the door from outside, then started telling us to go inside the bush, start running. Like, he will not even look back, start running. So on the process, they were trying to shoot one other guy. So the bullet passed through. There's one army guy with us. The bullet passed through him, passed through me too.
Was he wearing army uniform?
No, he was not wearing army uniform.
Okay, so the boys didn't know he was
Yes,
a
yes,
soldier. Okay.
yes. So when I started running, this happened like at 2 o'clock. We started running like till day dark. Like
Wow.
that 2 till 7 o'clock inside the bush.
We're running from 2 p.m. in the afternoon
Yes,
until 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. We are still inside the bush running. Like, you will not even look back. My bag, my phones, everything was inside the bus. Then I carried us that we should go. They should carry us to their barrack. I was like, the barrack is like a building safe. When I start running again, that we should go in that.
Middle of the night.
Middle of the night, yes. When we were going, we saw some farmers. People were farming around inside the. It's a town, it's a community.
Those farmers, they see you people?
Clear, they saw us. Clear, saw those kidnappers themselves. So we were thinking that maybe one of them will approach these boys there, that they should let us go. So they did not see anything. So we started running again. Inside the community, you will not talk, just move slow. So carry us to the camp. Then in the morning, then I started collecting our ATM card, your family's number, anybody that you can call. That very day, I did not give them my ATM card. Madam, where is the ATM card? I don't want to give them the ATM card. So they start beating me. They will ask of your PIN. You dare not give them the wrong PIN, because that one will they will be angry more. So, madam, give us your PIN. I was like, I gave them several pins. Say, madam, you are not sure yet. They start beating me again. So you better tell us the right PIN, because if they should go to that ATM and come that this PIN did not work, that they will just kill me. I will be, they will go and sell my parts or those allergies that used to buy human body, this, that. And I told them that, okay, this is the PIN. I gave them my PIN. So they went to the ATM, withdraw all money. Some people were carrying 4 ATM cards, 6 ATM cards. They withdraw all their money. Wow. Some people say for people having much in their accounts. After the money they still withdraw, they still went ahead, demand more from those people. So they collected the ATM card, go and withdraw our money. So they came back the following day, because so they were doing this thing day by day. Yes. I lost like, on my first bank account, I have like 200 something thousand. Then my GT was just 160. So
they collected everything?
They collected everything. Following day, they came that now it's time for us to call our parents who can provide money to come and pay us from there. That they need money. We will pay our ransom so that we can go out from there. So they start calling people. People will come, you will negotiate with them, for your family members, they will negotiate. Some were paying 10 million, 3 million, 5 million, 3 points, just like that. Because person I called on my own, person did not respond on time. So where the time was not going, like they want to leave the bush. That here is not their house, that here is not their house, they need to leave here, people come and pay money. If your people did not reply on time, they will beat you.
Wow.
If they should call your people and your people did not call back, they will start beating you. So it was just happening. We're there 3 days, no food.
Yes, I was going to ask you, all those, you were in that forest, in that bush, what were, you said, so for 3 days they didn't give you anything to eat?
They didn't give us food, just that the following day.
What about water?
The water that they will give you, say, you will not feel like drinking it. Just like this road water that people used to pass. They just go and serve the water and give to you to drink. Like 4 days, and I start giving us pure water to drink. They'll go and buy gala. They will ask you, what do you want? Some men, they were sick. People were sick there. There's this pastor. He's a pastor. The guy could not even walk again. Like, the guy BP is getting high. So the guy could not even walk. We'll be the one to carry the guy around. There's this girl. She was coming to Port to do her surgery. So that one, they beat her. The place now became the appendix.
Rupture.
As in, they beat her on that place. Thing her boss on her stomach. They'll go and buy body release, pain release for you to take, buy paracetamol for you to take, this kind of thing.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, it was indeed 7 days of very horrible experience for Stella. But what happened to her eventually? Did her family pay any ransom to release her? How did she get back home? Well, for answers to those questions, you'll have to join us for part 2 of Stella's kidnap story in our next edition of Inside the Niger Delta.
He's one of Bayelsa's finest, a world-class economist, businessman, banker, politician, and administrator par excellence. Timi Alaibe, former executive director, finance and administration, and later managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, former special advisor to the president on Niger Delta affairs, and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Timi Alaibe, hero of the Niger Delta. Timi Alaibe, distinguished son of Bayelsa State. Timi, now is your time. Bayelsa needs you. Timi, we need you. This message is powered by Bayelsans for Good Governance.
Now, moving on. Exactly 2 years after oil drilling activities were halted in the Belema flow station and gas plant in OML 25, the dispute between Shell Petroleum Development Company SPDC and its host communities in Kula Kingdom of River State is far from over. Correspondent Tekena Milfori reports that after Governor Nyesom Wike's intervention failed to assuage the people's feelings of resentment against SPDC and their continued operation of the Belema flow station, some non-state actors are beginning to wade into the matter.
In August 2017, angry women in oil-rich Kula Kingdom occupied the Belema flow station and gas plant. It was a non-violent protest against Shell's alleged negligence of its corporate social responsibility to its host communities, as well as a planned divestment of its interests on OML 25. Chiefs, elders and youths, throwing their weight behind the women, had maintained that after operating OML 25 and raking in billions of petrodollars for almost 40 years, Shell failed to plow back its huge profits to develop their communities. After considering the massive pollution of the environment occasioned by Shell's drilling activities over the years and its alleged divide and rule policy that has instigated untold violence in the communities, the Kula people sealed off the Belema flow station, declaring the Anglo-Dutch oil giant a persona non grata in OML 25.
The community protested against it because we refused to be handed over from one foreign slave master to another local company whose antecedents are known to us.
It was on account of the colossal loss in oil revenues running into over 700 billion naira, the shutdown of the Belema flow station across the country, that Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike recently ordered that the oil facility be reopened for the resumption of oil production. At a recent peace meeting called by Governor Wike, Shell's managing director, Osage Okumbo, had expressed shock at the turn of events in OML 25, where it once enjoyed a cordial relationship with its host communities. Some opinion leaders in Kula Kingdom, however, maintain that the occupation in August 2017 of the Belema flow station was the outcome of a long-standing face-off with Shell over alleged acts of neglect and repression. Following the continued occupation of the Belema flow station in violation of Governor Wike's order and Shell's determination to resume oil production in OML 25, there's a growing anxiety over the next line of action the oil mongers will likely take in their quest for unfettered access to the black gold in Kula Kingdom. For two prominent Ijaw leaders, Chief Edwin Clark and Alaibe Broderick Bozimo, there should be no contemplation of force in Shell's planned resumption of oil production in the area.
Since you cannot exploit our resources peacefully and compensate us, please go. Don't come and exploit. I don't see what is illegal there. Just leave us alone. And then ask the government to please. We have our own children. We have our own people who can exploit these resources, in a nice and good and healthy way without destroying the environment. That is only fair.
We want to participate in the oil industry because it belongs to us. Belema Oil Company is part of the people of Kula. I think it would be wrong, to be unfair, to allow some other Nigerians using their position previously held in the oil companies of wanting to buy this location without the people being involved.
The Ijaw leaders have urged Governor Wike to express solidarity with the people of Kula Kingdom who are only asserting their inalienable right to an existence in the Niger Delta.
I'm appealing to Mr. President and his government to listen to the plight of the Niger Delta people.
For Desmond Zah, an internationally acclaimed activist who recently visited the Niger Delta, Shell should be declared a persona non grata, not only in Nigeria's oil-rich region, but across the African continent. The 2014 winner of the Goldman Award for Africa says the Niger Delta is better off without Shell.
Shell should never be allowed. The only time they should be set foot there is when their CEOs are there cleaning up the mess, and they should never be setting foot to get anywhere near the Niger Delta to go and explore for oil and gas. They should be kicked out of the Niger Delta, they should be kicked out of the whole of Africa and never be allowed to re-enter the continent at all.
From all indications, the conflict on OML 25 is a brewing crisis that must be nipped in the bud to avert a repeat of the bloody crisis that erupted in Ogoniland at the height of the Ogoni non-violent struggle in the Niger Delta some 25 years ago. With an imminent state of lawlessness in Kula Kingdom, the federal government is expected to move swiftly to discharge its primary constitutional responsibility of protecting lives and property in the tension-soaked OML 25.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Meanwhile, Kula Kingdom is set to experience rapid socio-economic growth as Belema Oil Producing Limited has made a historic decision by moving its corporate headquarters from Port Harcourt to Kula Island City, both in Rivers State. According to a statement by the company's acting managing director, Mr. Pedro Diaz, the move places Belema Oil as the first upstream oil and gas exploration and production company operating in Nigeria to adhere to Nigerian government policy initiative set up to advance the economic well-being of its host communities and further add to the national gross domestic product. The new corporate headquarters, which is also in conformity with a call for oil companies to relocate their corporate headquarters to their areas of operation, is now situated at number 1 Donald Trump Boulevard off Muhammad Buhari Kula Degema Expressway, Belema Atlantic Island, Kula Town, South Nigeria. As Africa's first oil-producing company with host community roots, Belema Oil says it is committed to having the good people of their operating areas benefit in real terms from their operations through the provision of job opportunities for youths and the reinforcement of a peaceful and conducive atmosphere in the communities, which in turn helps with the eradication of all forms of social vices. After his mother died of cancer in August last year, Bayelsa State Governor Henry Seriake Dickson recently launched the late Mama Goldcoast Dickson Cancer Center in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital, to combat the dreaded scourge ravaging oil and gas producing communities in the Niger Delta. At a groundbreaking ceremony of the Goldcoast Dickson Memorial Cancer Center, witnessed by several dignitaries across the country, Governor Dickson observed that it was part of efforts to save lives in the Niger Delta and beyond.
The passing away of Mama Goldcoast Dickson in August last year was a painful loss to Governor Seriake Dickson and the entire people of Bayelsa State. In memory of the late matriarch of the Dickson family, the governor recently launched the Goldcoast Dickson Memorial Cancer Center to galvanize support in his fight against cancer. The Goldcoast Dickson Memorial Cancer Center was conceived to encourage early diagnosis of cancer and promote public awareness on the dreaded scourge. According to Governor Dickson, the Cancer Center will be transformed into a fully equipped research outfit, providing necessary support for medical institutions across the Niger Delta in no distant time.
We are assembled here to work together and see how we can stop the next death to cancer if possible. The key is early diagnosis. The key is promoting awareness. And that is what this center seeks to do.
Present at the groundbreaking ceremony of the Goldcoast Dickson Memorial Cancer Center was Dr. Chris Ngige, holding brief for President Muhammadu Buhari and 3 other former heads of state.
He wants to congratulate you on the step you've taken to put up the Goldcoast Dickson Memorial Cancer Center. And he describes it as a step in the right direction.
You see what cancer does, particularly the excruciating pain that sufferers go through. You will want to do anything and everything to comfort those who are victims.
I will appeal to all and sundry here to contribute generously for this foundation.
I believe this center will grow to help not just Bayelsans or South people or Nigerians, but even West Africa.
In recent times, cancer prevalence, which is associated with oil and gas production, has been on the increase in the Niger Delta. It is on this note that Governor Dickson's intervention is considered most welcome in Nigeria's oil-rich region. The Cancer Diagnosis and Treatment Center is an arm of the Dickson Foundation that was conceived to preserve the Ijaw culture and history, as well as promote environmental protection awareness in the Niger Delta.
Inside the Niger Delta.
And now we bring you an update on the political situation in Bayelsa State, as both the PDP and the APC both prepare for the governorship primaries ahead of the main governorship election slated for November 16, 2019.
With the November 16 Bayelsa governorship elections fast approaching, one man that would leave nothing to chance in his bid to become the next occupant of Creek Haven is Honorable Fred Agbedi, a member representing Sagbama Ikirimo Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. As part of a statewide consultations with critical stakeholders in the People's Democratic Party (PDP) ahead of the party's September 3 governorship primaries, Honorable Agbedi recently visited President Goodluck Jonathan to inform him about his governorship ambition.
So, Mr. President, I am in the race to win, but not without your support, Mr. President. Yes. Not without telling you, Mr. President. Yes.
At the meeting with President Jonathan, Agbedi, a ranking member of the House of Representatives and former PDP chairman in Bayelsa State, noted that he would make it a deliberate policy of his government to provide economic development for Bayelsans, who would in turn create wealth in their state.
What, as a government, if I'm elected, I will do is to ensure that Bayelsans who have core competencies in business are encouraged to ensure that they come back to the state. They attract partners to come back to Bayelsa and invest.
During his recent consultations with stakeholders in Bayelsa State, Agbedi had disowned proponents of zoning as a factor in the November 16 governorship elections, insisting that it is alien to the politics of Bayelsa State.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The camp of Ambassador Boladei Igali, another strong contender for the PDP governorship ticket, is upbeat in preparations for the September 3 primaries. The former secretary to the Bayelsa state government and career diplomat recently set up a campaign structure with Elder Z. Debekeme, one-time Chief Press Secretary to former Governor DSP Alamesaya as Director General. Others include Chief Joshua Benemesia, former President of the Ijaw National Congress, as Deputy DG, Contacts and Mobilization. Honorable Augustus Osumu, Deputy DG, Strategy and Party Liaison. Madam Rosemary Ingbi, a Nollywood producer in charge of Women Directorate.
And this is the time that God has appointed, that Bayelsa will experience the kind of growth, the kind of development, the kind of progress that has not been imagined anywhere in Nigeria.
Determined to take his campaign to the grassroots, Ambassador Igali has also appointed local government coordinators for his campaign, most of whom are young Bayelsans.
One thing that is critical in this election, what do we do with our young people? Creating jobs for them, opportunities for self-actualization. And the Bayelsa youth will stand out in Nigeria.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The campaign organization of former MD of the NDDC, Chief Timi Alaibe, has appointed a Director General for its primary election, and he is former two-time Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Right Honorable Peremobowei Ebebi. A staunch member of the PDP and two-time Speaker of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Ebebi, will lead a team of dedicated members of the campaign organization towards ensuring total victory for Timi Alaibe at the September 3rd PDP primary election. According to a statement signed by the Administrative Secretary of the Timi Alaibe campaign organization, Professor Seifa Brisibe, the influential Senator Nimi Barigba Amange was also appointed to coordinate Bayelsa East Senatorial District. Former PDP Chairman Bayelsa State Rufus Agbedi will coordinate Bayelsa Central Senatorial District, while Chief Kemi Prefa will coordinate Bayelsa West Senatorial District. A top female politician and first female member of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Honorable Vivian Ere, was also appointed the campaign's woman leader. From the APC, the number of its governorship aspirants has increased following the recent resignation of INEC resident Electoral Commissioner for Cross River State, Dr. Franklin Briyai, and the subsequent declaration of his interest to contest the governorship election under the platform of the APC in his home state of Bayelsa.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, with that report, we draw the curtain on the program. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back on this station same time next week. Many thanks for staying tuned, but you can also follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. Until then, I remain yours sincerely, Mamode Akugha, signing off on the program. Bye for now.